Hey, what's up, writers? Today we're going to unpack how the people that are in your life actually shape the words on the pages of the books that you are or will be writing. We're going to explore the human ecosystem around writers, from writing groups to mentors and critics, and how these relationships can make or break a creative's career. Let's go. Thanks to Hollywood, we often think of writers as solitary figures, hunched over their keyboards, banging out their next masterpiece. And although that typically is the end result, because you need your peace, your solitude, and quiet so you can hear your thoughts, picture Paul Sheldon, the character Paul Sheldon in the movie Misery. And what I want to make known about this isolation is that no matter how quiet it gets, no matter how far you travel, behind every writer, they bring with them in that space the people, the places, the events, the experiences, the books, the conversations, the challenges, the support, the inspiration, and the frustrations with them. So, how are the people in your life showing up in your writing? That is what we're going to talk about today. The social connections that influences the words and events that show up on our page. And also it influences whether or not our manuscript ultimately will end up in the reader's hand or tucked away in a closet somewhere. So whether you're writing in a vibrant community or feeling isolated in your craft, understanding these dynamics can transform your creative journey. So let's start by dismantling this persistent myth of the isolated and solo writer. I want you to embrace you, the author, the writer, that you are part of a community, and your best work will happen when you are open to critique, to criticism, to feedback, and to improving yourself, your writing 1% every week. Yes, let's start by dismantling the persistent myth of what I just referred to as the solitude or solo writer. This thought process that the writer needs nothing more but their brilliance to create a masterpiece. You all recall the Harlem Renaissance, right? And all the beautiful pieces, spoken word arts that came out of that movement. But it wasn't just a movement. It was a vibrant community of writers and authors that supported, challenged, and promoted each other's work. We push each other to be better. Brilliant stick, are you measuring your work if you're not bumping it up against someone else's? Yes? And we're not talking about just casual friendships. We're being intentional here. We're talking about creative partnerships that have created some of literature's greatest works. Yes, the truth is, writing may be done alone, but writers rarely thrive in isolation. As Neil Gaiman once said, the most important thing that helped me become a writer was other writers. One of the most powerful influences on a writer's development is formal or informal critique groups. Now, these communities serve multiple critical functions. Let's get into them. Out of the three things that these communities provide, the first is technical feedback that helps identify blind spots in your work. For we as authors are sometimes too close to our writings to spot plot holes, character inconsistencies, or pacing issues because we're focused on getting our words on the paper, and we may be, like I said, too close to really see the forest, right? That technical feedback helps you improve. Lean into it. Secondly, they offer emotional support during those rejections for those of you that are going to publish the traditional route, or those setbacks that all of us writers experience, whether it's not saving your work when you thought it was your best work, or you're just encountering writer's block. Our fellow writers understand these struggles and can offer feedback and assistance in ways that even our well-meaning friends and family members can't, because it's not their lane. They offer accountability, that powerful psychological motivator that keeps you inspired or keeps you producing when your inspiration, wanes. And finally, they offer industry knowledge. Duh! Because why would you be in a community of like-minded people if they're not authors and writers and publishers and editors who don't have this experience, right? We're in a community to challenge, support, and help each other be our best. So everything from submission strategies to agent recommendations and self-publishing trends. Communities will offer you this. I have a student who's been journaling for 14 years. I met her last week on Thursday. She joined our writers group on Friday, and she now has her avatar identified, her outline for her book, and a writing schedule. All it takes is just getting in conversation, in community with like-minded people that kind of gets you going. And it eliminates the distraction. If your environment is not full of writers and authors and publishers, right? Editors, formatters, you're not in that industry on a daily basis, then it doesn't seem important to the other people in your life. So they're not reminding you. They're not reinforcing what it is you want to do when it comes to writing a book. Yes, you're in IT at work. Who's going to tell you, hey, did you write words today? Let me see what you wrote so I can see if the structure and the flow and the logic makes sense. No. And then you come home tired. Who is going to hold you accountable? Who's going to critique your work? Your tired husband? Your 7th grader? I mean, maybe, but I'm just asking. So get yourself in an environment to reinforce and foster your writing, your improvement of your writing, and ultimately producing your manuscript. Yes? Hey, disclaimer. Not all critiques and communities are created equal. There are toxic groups and communities that can do more damage to your confidence and derail your progress than going at it alone. So be intentional when you're searching out and seeking these collaboration and these partnerships, right? Yeah, the key is finding partners that understand your goals and vision and still offer honest and readily available assessments, because someone could be great in critiquing your work, but they also have to be ready, willing, and able to do it. If you can only get in contact with somebody or get feedback from a community every month or every other month, when you put a question in that community or speak with someone, you can't get a hold of them often, then it's almost it's pointless. So just be intentional, but please be in community. All right, so let's tackle real quickly our inner circle, family and intimate friends, which is perhaps the most complicated relationships of them all, besides the one we have with ourselves. Because they're the closest to us. And they were there when we first said we wanted to write a book, if we disclosed it. And they hear our procrastination 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years later with no words on the paper. Or they understand how you have isolated yourself in a room for an hour for the last 2 months to try to finish this masterpiece. So ultimately live with your day-to-day obsession or lack thereof of writing. For some writers, family provides essential emotional support. Stephen King actually credited his wife Tabitha for rescuing Carrie. It all but threw this in the trash. And amazingly, Carrie is what launched Stephen King's career. So you have pros and cons within your family and friend circle, but once again, be intentional about who you share your goals and visions and your work with within your friends and your family circle, just as you would in vetting out a critique and writing community. So I'll stop it there for today. I think that is plenty to digest. I'm actually going to make this a 2-part series. I'm just trying to bring to light that your environment dictates your performance. And when I speak about your environment, I don't just mean where you live. Your environment is everything that you do on a regular basis. Where you go to the gym at, where you fellowship, where you grocery shop, who you go to Sunday brunch with, who you go to lunch with when you're at work. These conversations, these interactions, these environments, and also the quality of that manuscript. The emphasis in this conversation is for you to be intentional about your writing and link up, create an environment that supports you as a writer. Yes, sometimes you have to research what that looks like for you, Other times you have to listen to your intuition and your gut and know, hey, I've vetted this particular person or group, but it doesn't feel right, and move along. Yes, the world is waiting for your masterpiece. Yes or yes? Let me hear you say it. Amen. If you like this video, you found value in it, remember I'm gonna break this up into 2 parts, so I will be back with a little more information on how our environment dictates our performance. Until then, like the video, share this content, because if you are a writer, you also know another writer. So make sure they get this popped up in their YouTube feed. And comment below. Let me know which particular pain point resonated with you, the isolation, finding a community, your family members. I would love to hear that. And we keep in mind, I read every comment. So until next time, I'm your girl, Author FM Ellis. This is 90 Day Author. Best of life to you all. Peace.